Phil Tufnell has as well.
He's working for us now, obviously, but for those of you who don't know, the One Show's roving reporter used to be a highly respected... Well, he was an international cricketer. Anyway, here he is in his bowling prime. And let's cut to the scene at the other end of that wicket as an Australian hits him right out of the ground. But Phil was a fine cricketer.
He was.
In fact...
Mind you, the way England's cricketers are performing at the minute, he might make a dramatic comeback. Who knows?
The call-up might come.
It just might. In the meantime, his role on The One Show is to investigate for us the origins of unusual place names.
I'm sailing to the town of Gravesend in Kent, the old-fashioned way, to find out how this once thriving port got its name. Gravesend. Sounds all a little bit morbid to me. And the first thing you notice about Gravesend is the curious number of headstones dotted about the town. So, have you got any theories about how Gravesend got his name?
Well, after the plague, they started burying from Blackheath and then they carried on and then they stopped here. So that's why they called it Gravesend.
The Great Plague of London.
Bubonic plague?
Yes, yeah, and so many deaths from that.
Yeah.
But,
What, they used
all
to
the
bury
burials took as far as coming down from London to here.
Myth has it, Gravesend got its name during the bubonic plague epidemic in the 13th century. It was the first place to bury its victims, not on land, but right up there, out to sea, up the Thames estuary. Well, that's one theory, but there's just way too many graves dotted all around here for that to be true. Time to call in some proper local knowledge. So, Sandra, has the name Gravesend got anything to do with the bubonic plague?
No, it hasn't, because the bubonic plague was in the 13th century and Gravesend, or Gravesham, should I say, is in the Domesday Book, which is in the 1000s.
So what's your theory about how Gravesend got its name?
Well, there are various theories, but the Victorians and the Edwardians, they had a particular one that they preferred, which was to do with a gerfa. It's a Saxon word, a grieve or a reeve. A bailiff, a man who was the representative of the head man in the area, collecting taxes maybe. And it could have been the end of his jurisdiction. It could have been where he lived, because of this difference, Gravesham, Gravesend.
Yeah.
And Gravesend has been associated with tax collections all that time.
Now we're making progress. It could be the limit or end of the bailiff or grieve's jurisdiction. So Gravesend has, over the years, become Gravesend. And there was plenty to keep the tax collector busy. As gateway port to London, Gravesend's history is colourful. It's always been infamous for the 3 Ps, pubs, pilots and prostitutes. And there's a 4th P, for Pocahontas. The Native American later immortalised by Disney visited Gravesend, fell ill and died. She's buried here. This death theme, it just keeps cropping up, doesn't it? Fortunately, there might be another explanation. I'm off up Windmill Hill to meet a man who's going to show me the town from a different perspective. So, Chris, all these graves dotted about Gravesend, have they got anything to do with the name?
Absolutely no. Nothing at all. They've got nothing to do with the name in terms of graves, i.e. bodies, plagues or anything like that. What you've got to try and imagine is, hundreds of years ago, in Saxon times and thereafter, this whole area would have been covered in far more woodland than you see today. Almost certainly there was a royal hunting park near this area. It would have been surrounded by a grove. At the grove's end, where the park ended, then was the town, on the chalk outcrop right on the edge of the River Thames. And that eventually became Gravesham and then Gravesend as we know today. So nothing to do with bodies and everything to do with wood.
So there you have it. All it is a town at the edge of a forest, or a Gravesend. Nothing to do with graves and nothing to do with death. So I won't be needing these. I might give them to the missus. Happy days.
If you're married to Phil Tufnell and you've got some free flowers one day, then do let us know. We'd be delighted to find out.